Pivot table is basically a features in Microsoft Excel to handle pivot analysis, right? However, the application of pivot table in Microsoft Excel is so limited because the pivot analysis with pivot table can only apply on one table only. However, as the time goes on, okay, we find that now this is the earn of data scientists. That means, okay, we will have a much more data from different data sources and need our efforts to do analysis on it. So if we're still using pivot table, then it is not enough for our daily operation. So that's why I will have this session. So at the very beginning, let us start from some concept in data science first. Basically, okay, most of you may have some idea on what is data scientist. Okay, now I will kickstart with the BI solution architecture with all of you first. Basically, for data science, okay, nowadays is a very hot topic, right? Because everybody will find that if we can catch at most as much as we can capture the data from our daily operation, then we can do whatever different kind of analysis to get some very amazing result to help us to make decision and also help the business to enhance our operation and the efficiency of our daily work as well. So how to do a kickstart with this business model? First of all, just have a look on this diagram. First of all, as shown in this diagram, okay, on the left-hand side, you can see in our daily operation of every company, we will have different data sources from different systems. For example, maybe most of the company, the size is more or less like that of our land phone. Then most of them will have a CRM system and ERP system. Basically, what is CRM and what is ERP? CRM is the customer relationship management. Basically, CRM most popularly will use in retail business. For ERP system, basically most of the company in Hong Kong or maybe in the rest of the world also have an ERP system. Basically, ERP, the full name is the Enterprise Resources Process. For example, in Lian Feng, we always treat the order management system as part of our ERP system. Okay, because our core business, okay, all the transaction of our core business are handled by the order management system. So we can treat, okay, or the order management system is part of our ERP system as well. Of course, for nowadays, not only for those internal system, okay, the data is not only from the from the internal system only, but also maybe we need to get some extra data from social platform like the Facebook platform and Twitter platform as well. The reason why we would like to capture this kind of information, because nowadays is a social media world. If we would like to promote our business, okay, social media like Facebook, Twitter is very important for business. So that's why if you get your own Facebook account for your company, then we can capture those visitors' information and do have a further data analysis, okay, for our business as well. Of course, here we still got some apps. Okay, what does it mean? Because besides from the social platform and also from the data internal system, data can also be captured from those external parties like those financial institute as well. The reason why, because if we are doing business, okay, in the in an open world, okay, that means our business not affected only between the relationship with the supplier and also the customer, but also is being affected by the macroeconomic as well. So that's why if we are doing some data analysis on our business, we need to also cater those macroscopic data like those financial index, like the GDP of a different country, the interest rate, and also the unemployment rate of a specific country as well. This kind of data may also help us to do data analysis as well. And for today's session, okay, what next here? Okay, for today's session, I will focus on this box. As you can see here we'll call it as the data integration and ETL. Basically, what is ETL? ETL, okay, basically is a three words, okay. The first one, E, that means extract. T, that means transform. And know, that means to know the data back to the database. What does it mean? Because as you can see here, okay, we will got, okay, different data sources from different platform, different channel, or different financial institutes, something like that. If, okay, what we need to do is to extract those useful information and then put it into our analysis system to do further, to do the analysis. So the first step is extract. That means extract those useful data into our system. And what next is to do the transform. For example, most popularly, I think daily, okay, we will have a sort of data like the dates, okay, the transaction dates of a certain case, right? If we will, after we extract those data from the system, and then we'll do the transformation operation, like, okay, to separate the days, year, and months, okay, and then put it back to the database to have a further data analysis. Then we'll treat this process called the transform. If we would like to know it back to our database, then we'll call this operation called L. So we'll combine this operation as an ETL. Basically, for today's session, the use of the Power Pivot will focus on ETL and also some very simple reporting as well. And after we do the ETL, then we'll put those data, okay, after the ETL process back to a place called data warehouse. Basically, most of the people in the world, we know, okay, what is database? However, what is the main definition of data warehouse? Okay, database and data warehouse are also a electronic storage area for you to keep your data. However, the major differences is like that. Database, those data in database, we will frequently updating the data. For example, in our order management system, all the transaction data will update day to day, time to time, right? That means, okay, the transaction record will keep on updating all the time. Then this kind of keep on updating the information, we'll put it in the database. However, after process those database information, and we would like to keep it in a quiet base, for where, okay, we will put those data separately and without frequent updating. Then we will call that area, that storage area, call it as the data warehouse. Okay, most popularly, okay, all our reporting operation, we will retrieve data only from the data warehouse. The reason why? Because we would like to do the analysis more effectively and also more correct. Okay, the reason why, if we retrieve data directly from the database, that means those are frequently updated record. If we're doing reporting on this data set, then our report may be wrong, maybe not correct. So in order to make sure all the data are safe, are correct, and which is clean enough for doing reporting, then we will do the ETL process and put all this kind of data in the data warehouse. And after that, all the data warehouse data can be retrieved by the reporting system to do further analysis. Basically, this is the basic concept, okay, in nowadays data science world. Okay, any questions? If you have any question, you may type your question in the Microsoft team, and I will answer your question, okay, immediately, okay? Okay, now let's have a look on this diagram. Because the BI architecture is only the rough idea. Maybe that is some in common knowledge in different systems. And this part I will demonstrate, okay, if we use the Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Office to do data analysis. Okay, what steps we will need to do, okay, in doing the data analysis stuff. Okay, basically now I would like to change the terms, okay, from Microsoft Excel to Power Excel. The reason why, because for the version Office 2016, that means that the version that Li and Feng using, okay, they are quite different from the old version. Because in the past, you cannot find these two features. The first feature is called the Power Query, and the next feature is Power Pivot. Okay, basically, okay, we will have additional two very powerful feature called Power QE and Power Pivot. So I will change the name. Okay, I will rename the Excel to Power Excel. The reason why, just have a note on the data processing process over here. First of all, okay, if you have a tons of raw data from different channel, okay, let's say from Microsoft Access or Microsoft Excel or even from the SharePoint or maybe from other system, then we'll call this kind of data called raw data. For those raw data may have some error, a missing link, missing data over there. So if we would like to make sure all the data are correct and maybe and also which is capable for our data analysis engine to do the reporting or analysis feature operations, then we'll first of all to do a very important process called Power QE. Power QE basically, Power QE is some micro instruction that we design to put in the Microsoft Excel, which can help us to retrieve the correct data. That means, okay, we may set some criteria in Power Query so that the Power Query will help us, okay, to select those data we need, okay, for us to do data analysis. Then so that's why Power Query is very important for us to retrieve data. For this part, in this class, I will give you some basic idea only because I have another course which is mainly focusing on the usage of Power Query. If you would like to learn more about the detail, you may go to the Workday to register for that course, okay? And I will announce later. Okay, after we retrieve all the data, okay, from different data source and resources, so what next is to formulate something called the data model. In the old time, okay, maybe 5 years back or 7 years back, at that time, maybe most of our data are come from a single table only. So at that time, we can apply the pivot table easily and do whatever we want to do the analysis for our boss, right? So, however, now the world being become more complicated. Resources will data resources may come from different table, right? Maybe at one time we need to handle several tables all together in order to do the data analysis. So that's why Microsoft introduced a new concept to us, that is data model. For example, in our order management system, okay, we will have a fee table which we will frequently use. For example, like the case record, the customer record, and also the supplier record, right? And this fee record, we can link together to link the relationship because as we know, okay, in case record, we can easily find the customer ID and also the supplier ID, and so that we can follow the trend of the customer ID and the supplier ID to look for detailed information about the customer and supplier from their separate table. So in data model, we can help to formulate this relationship so that we can build up some linkage between tables. This is very important in handling those complicated database. After we formulate a data model, then we can kickstart to have a pivot analysis. In the old time, if we handle only one table, then we will be using the pivot table features to handle the pivot analysis. However, now we need to handle the data model. That means altogether maybe handle 10 to 100 tables altogether in a single data model. Then we will apply another new features called the Power Pivot. However, for Power Pivot, the features are also limited. So if you would like to enhance the features or maybe design some new features to handle your complicated analysis, then you need to learn another new language. The new language called the DAX. The full name is called the Data Analysis Expression. Okay, basically, if you find that, wow, David, I just learned how to use the Microsoft Excel functions. However, now they changed to another language. It doesn't mean I need to learn from the scratch. Okay, the answer, of course, no, because the DA's language is more or less like that of the Excel formula. So for those people or those colleagues, if you have experience in using Microsoft Excel function, then it is very easy for you to taking care those DAX operations. Okay, up to this moment, any questions? If no questions, okay, then we'll kickstart to have a look on what we would like to do today. Okay, now just go back to our Microsoft Excel. Okay, as according to the email, okay, I sent to you yesterday. I have already sent you all together should have two Excel file, right? Two Excel file. Okay, please open the Excel file called which one? Okay, let me show you. Okay, we have two Excel file. One of the Excel file called the data.xls file, and the other one called the DAXXLS file, right? Please open this data file. This one is the exercise file at 04102018 underscore data.xlsx file. Okay, just double click this file and open it. This file, well, is quite complicated. You may see it as a complicated, right? Okay, let me show you. Okay, after you open the file, okay, what you get here is some Excel spreadsheet data, right? Altogether, we will have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Altogether, we will have a seven worksheets, okay, contains data. And this worksheets are coded. The first one is the customer lookup. Second one is the store lookup. Third one is the product lookup, candidate lookup, transaction lookup, and also region lookup and returns as well. Okay, now just have a look over here. If I would like to kickstart to do some data analysis, okay, what should we do? What should we do to kickstart to doing the data analysis? Okay, just have a look over here. Okay, go to the customer lookup. Let's have a look how many customers we have on this spreadsheet. I just simply press Control down arrow, and then I find that altogether we will have a 10,281 customer. Okay, easy, right? If you go to the transaction, just have a look on how many transactions we have. Press the Control down arrow, and we find that we altogether we will have 269,720 records altogether in this spreadsheet, right? So, what should we kickstart? I would like, okay, just have a look over here. Transaction, okay, transaction, okay, according to our basic knowledge, okay, on database, okay, transaction will keep all the information about the transaction record of our business. And those transaction record, okay, just have a look over here. What we got inside this table is we have the transaction date, the stock date of the transaction, also the product ID, customer ID, store ID, and quantity. Product ID, we can use the product ID to look for the detailed information of the product from the product table. And for the customer ID, we can making use of this index, okay, to look for the detailed information about the customer. The same as the previous two, okay, we can use this ID to look for the details about the store as well. And here, it will show us, okay, the transaction, the quantity. That means, okay, it will show which this customer, okay, the 3449 customer, okay, buy the product X69, okay, for 5 items, okay, in which store? In number 6 store. This is the transaction. It shows us, okay, the detailed information. But now I would like to, okay, build a data model to link those information up of this transaction table with those information with the product ID and customer ID. Then what should we do? I would like to link the product table, customer table, and also this transaction table all together. Then what should we do? So first of all, I would like to retrieve this table and put it into the data table. Okay, put it into the data table, and then to put it into the data model of the Microsoft Excel. So how to do it? First of all, if we got this data set, so we move the active cell to this area. Okay, and this area we'll call it as the current region, right? So after we move our active cell to this area, and then please click the insert menu over here, and then you will find we've got something called the table, right? Table. Click table, and then it will ask you, okay, do you want to turn this range into a table? And it will also ask you whether this range have the table header or not. If I have the table header, for example, like this one, we really have the table header. Okay, so we need to click this checkbox. Okay, okay, and then it will turn this range into a Excel data table, right? If after it is turned into an Excel data table, then as you can see here, we will have an additional tools bar, okay, appear at the top of the menu. We've got a tools called the the table tools, and then under it we will have a menu section called design. And over here on my left hand side, you can see here we've got something called the table name. Because this is the first table, okay, being created in this Excel file, so it will automatically name it as the table 1. However, I don't want to name it as table 1. I would like to give a more meaningful name, okay, for this table. So I will name it as TBL chance, just like this. Okay, let me magnify, okay, this area for you, okay, just like this, okay, this part, TBL chance, just name it as TBL chance, and then from this moment onward, okay, whenever we call the TBL chance, that means this table. And now also do similar things. Go to the customer lookup, and then again, I would like to turn this customer lookup range into a customer table. So do the same thing. Insert table, and over here my table has header, right? And then after that, also go to the table name, name it as TBL cust, like this. Okay, to name the customer lookup table as TBL cust, like this. What next? I'd like to go to the product lookup as well. In the product lookup, do some similar thing. Go to the insert, select the table options, and then over here, okay, ask the Microsoft Excel to turn this range into a table with the table header as well. And now we have already turned it into a table. And the table, the default name is table 3. But now I would like to rename it to a more meaningful table name as a TBL product, just like this. So after we doing this, now altogether we will have a 3 table is ready. Okay, the first one is the transaction table, this one TBL trans, and the second one is the product table, TBL product, and the third one is the customer table, TBL cust. Okay, and now if I would like to put it to formulate a data model, so how to do it? Okay, the first thing I would like to do is like that, because if this is the first time, okay, you would like to use the Power Pivot, okay, to formulate the data model, okay, then you cannot see this option. For me, because I have already used the Power Pivot for at least 100 times, okay, for at least 100 times. So that's why I can find the Power Pivot menu over here. However, if this is the first time for you to use the Power Pivot, then you need to do one thing. That is, go to the data menu, And then in the data menu, you can see a section called the data tools section here. And then in the data tools section, you can see over here, you will got something called the manage data model. Once you click the manage data model, then it will ask you whether or not you would like to enable the Power Pivot features. Please click the enable features. And then after that, it will open the Power Pivot for Excel for you, just like what you can see here. Okay? Basically, for Power Pivot for Excel, okay, you may treat it as a separate application in Microsoft Office. However, it is strongly linked together with Microsoft Excel. If I load Microsoft Excel, the Power Pivot for Excel can't retrieve any data from other data sources. Okay? So after you click this, and then you find that, okay, an empty Power Pivot for Excel application is opened. If you close this application again, then you will find that in your Microsoft Excel, you can see under the Power Pivot menu, you can see these features. The first one is the manage, second one measure, third one KPI, and the fourth one is the add to data model. As you can see here, add to data model, what does it mean? Just have a, okay, let us try it. Okay, now let us go to the customer lookup and then move our active cell to the table, TBL cuts. If now at this moment, if you would like to add this table into the data model, then what should you do? Just to move the active cell over here and then click this button, add to data model. After you click the add to data model, then again, the Power Pivot for Excel will again show on top of the screen. And over here, you can see, okay, those data has already been retrieved, okay, to the Power Pivot application program. And over here, you can see the name of the table as well. The table of the name of the table will be shown over here. And here it will show you TBL cuts, right? So at this moment, just do it again. Okay, move, okay, to click the spreadsheet Power Product Lookup. After you go to the Product Lookup over here, if you would like to add this table to the data model as well, just simply click this button, Add to Data Model. After you click the Add to Data Model again, then you can see here, TBL product has already been retrieved, okay, to the data model already. And now, go to transaction, click this button again. Then, the third table, transaction table, has already been retrieved, okay, to the Power Pivot application. So now, altogether, we've got three tables, TBL cuts, TBL product, and TBL chance, right? But what is the major differences between the Microsoft Excel and Power Pivot? Because the outlook of the Power Pivot is quite similar to that of Microsoft Excel. Basically, the major differences is like that. Okay, in Excel, okay, the column name is named as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, something like that. It will be named as the alphabetical characters. However, now here, it will be given the column name, okay, for each table, right? As like as that of our the Excel table, right? So, what are the major differences? Okay, just show you another view. Basically, now we are in the data view of the Power Pivot for Excel. So, as you can see here, under the Home tab, can you see at the right-hand side, you can see something called the data view over here. Basically, now what we are looking at is the data view of the Power Pivot for Excel. If you click this option, diagram view, see what happened. As you can see here, we can see the diagram view. The diagram view is basically showing you all the table, okay, you have already been added to the data model of the Power Pivot for Excel. And over here, it will show you only those field names, and you can see the detail about the data of each table. As you can see here, okay, we've got the customer table, product table, and transaction table. If we say, what next should we do? As I mentioned before, because the reason why we will have a data model, because we would like to retrieve the information from different table from different data sources, right? And next, that is, if we need to do analysis on several tables or maybe 100 tables altogether, then we need to build a relationship for each table. It's very important, right? So as you can see here, for the diagram view in the Power Pivot for Excel, the major function is to build the relationship between tables. So just have a look over here. As you can see here, okay, in the transaction table, we will have something called the product ID. And over here, in the table product, we also have the product ID over here. Basically, what's the usage of the product ID? For layman, okay, I will tell them, okay, for layman, okay, product ID is the linkage, okay, to build the linkage between these two tables. However, if you would like to have a more conceptual, theoretical concept, okay, on this design is like that. In the product table here, the product ID we'll call it as in the academy. Okay, we'll call it as the PK. PK means the primary key. What's the use for primary key? Primary key is to keep the record, okay, inside a certain table, keep the uniqueness of the record. Okay, what's the use of the PK then? What is the meaning of uniqueness? For example, let's take me as an example. My name is David Mann. Basically, in Hong Kong, there will be at least 100 David Mann in Hong Kong, maybe. So how to differentiate this David Mann to other David Mann in Hong Kong? For Hong Kong government, they use a very, very simple method. That is to assign each David Mann have a unique key. And that unique key is the PK, the permanent key of each David Mann. In Hong Kong, this is the Hong Kong ID card number. For your country, maybe your country also issue an ID card. Then the ID card number is your primary key. The usage of the primary key is to keep your uniqueness, to easy to identify different records. This is very important. And now for here, if you see, well, for the transaction table over here, we also have the product ID. But what is the name of this product ID? Okay, basically the name for this product ID is the primary key to keep the uniqueness of the table. And for this product ID, because it is used for what? For the transaction table to point to another table to look for detailed information. So this ID will point to a foreign table. So we will call this ID as the FK. FK, that means the foreign key. That means we will use this ID to point to a foreign table to look for the detailed information of the product. Okay, similar to the product ID. Customer ID over here inside the transaction table is the foreign key. And over here, okay, there's customer ID because it is used to keep the uniqueness of the customer record. So this customer ID, the purpose is for primary key usage. So at this moment, we now know what is foreign key and what is primary key. And then how to link the table together. This is very important, right? How to link it? Very complicated. Listen very carefully. We need to select the product ID over here and drag and drop to the transaction table over here, point to the product ID, and then release. And then we have already built the relationship between the transaction table and the product table, right? Very complicated, right? And now, let's have a look over here. I would like to build the relationship between the customer table and the transaction table. We will drag and drop the customer ID to the customer ID inside the customer table and release. And then we'll got, okay, now we have already built two relationships. Okay, the first relationship is between the transaction table and the product table. And the second relationship is between the transaction table with the customer table. If you would like to have a look on the details about the relationship we have built inside the diagram view, so what should we do? Just have a look over here. Please click the design menu over here. And then can you see here, under the relationship section, we will have a button called the Manage Relationship. Manage Relationship. Just click the Manage Relationship button. See what happened. As you can see here, okay, we can see the relationship between the tables. Okay, between the tables. Just have a look. See what we have. As we can see here, it will show all the relationship. Because up to this moment, we've got only 2 relationships. So we've got table 1, okay, linked from the transaction table to the customer table. And the other one is transaction table to the product table, right? And the relationship is what? Is many to one. What does it mean by many to one? Just have a look over here. This is the transaction table. Here we've got a asterisk. For asterisk, that means the many relationships. And over here, point to the product. Here it will show you the 1 over here. That means this is the 1 relationship. So this relationship, we'll call it as many to one. Why? Why will have this relationship many to one? Let's guess. Okay, what happened over here? Okay, for example, here it will show you the transaction, right? And here it will show you the detailed information of a certain product, right? For example, just like the style number in Lian Feng, right? For a style number, we may have a different customer to buy the same style number product from us, right? So we may have so many transactions from different customer in different day. So that's why we will have many transactions point to the same style number. The scenario is just like what we are doing here. Here we will got a single product over here, just like, okay, we would like to buy the M&M chocolate, okay, from the nearby Circle K. From that Circle K, maybe, okay, the M&M chocolate is one of the item number over here. And for this single item number, they will have more than 1 transaction per day, okay, for buying the M&M chocolate, right? So that's why the relationship between the product and the transaction, the relationship is 1 to many, because we will have more than 1 transaction to handle the same product item ID, right? Just similar to that of the relationship between the product. Okay, the relationship between the transaction and the customer is also the similar, because a single customer may have many business with us. So that's why 1 customer over here will have many transactions with the shop as well. So the relationship for the customer and transaction are also 1 to many as well. So that's why we will have 1 to many relationship between the tables. That's the reason. So up to this moment, any questions? If you have question, you may just simply type in the MS Team, and then I will answer your question. If no question, then we will carry on. Basically, now, okay, just have a look over here. Okay, after we build up the model like this, okay, so what's the use for building up this model? As what I mentioned before, I would like to apply the pivot analysis to this data model. Basically, we have already created a data model over here. So how to perform the pivot analysis with this data model? Just have a look over here. Go to Home over here. You can see we've got an option called the pivot table. just simply click the pivot table options, and then the system will bring us back to Microsoft Excel. And over here, the Microsoft Excel will ask us, okay, whether or not you would like to create a new worksheet to handle the pivot analysis or not. And then we say, okay, build a new worksheet, and click OK. So now we've got a new spreadsheet, okay, for our pivot analysis. Basically, on the left-hand side is the pivot table, and right-hand side is the pivot table fields, okay, in this exercise. As you can see here, okay, on our right-hand side, we can see the fields are divided into 3 different parts. The first part called the TBL customer, and the second one called the TBL product, and the third one is the TBL trans. If we click the expand button, then it will expand and show us all the fields inside this table. Basically, up to this moment, okay, as you can see here, okay, if you have some experience in using the pivot table, then you will know what we should do right now. For example, if I would like to do some analysis in doing analysis on the sales of each product, So what should you do? So over here, I just simply drag and drop the product ID to the rows over here. And then here, it will show you the product number in the pivot table, right? However, now at this moment, I would like to have the information about the what? About the sales number, the sales number. That means, okay, I would like to know, okay, the sales quantity of the of each product. So what should we do? We drag and drop the quantity to the value over here. Then it will show you the product number 1 has already shown, okay, altogether 245 units. And product number 2, it has already sell 471 items. Okay, so in the old time, we cannot do this kind of analysis because the information are from different table. But now, after we build up the data model, then we can link these 2 tables together, and then we can link those information between these 2 different tables together to do the pivot analysis. However, if you observe, okay, my example clearly, you find that where you are now dragging the product ID to the row. Okay, the product ID also available in the transaction table. Okay, in the old time, we still can do this kind of analysis. But what is the major differences? Okay, let me show you. If I drag the product brand, then you can find the differences. Okay, I remove the product ID. Okay, different brand, and also check also here different product brand and different product name as well. Can you see here? We can do our data analysis more complicated, okay, and can retrieve more information, okay, from the table as well. Is it clear? It is very powerful, okay? It is very powerful and very easy for you to use as well. Okay, actually, up to this moment, any questions? If you have questions, please raise up in the MS Team. And now, another thing is, okay, as what you can see, okay, I did last time. That is, okay, because in here, in the customer table, we got customer ID. And here, in the transaction table, also we got the customer ID. So, wow, maybe, okay, these 2, basically, this, as we know, okay, these 2 customer ID basically are the same, right? However, when doing the pivot analysis, okay, it is very easy to make people feel dizzy, okay, because there's so many field with the same name, okay, with the same attribute, the same feature. Well, it is very make people so dizzy and very difficult to handle, or maybe will generate human error, right? So if for those fields which are duplicated, okay, in different table, then I will suggest you to hide those fields, okay, from the pivot table analysis features. So how to do it? Okay, just have a note over here. Okay, I just click the Manage button again and fall back to the Power Pivot for Excel applications. Over here, as you can see here, basically for the product ID inside the transaction table and the customer ID inside the transaction table, basically it's duplicated in this scenario because we can also find the product ID information from the product table and find the customer ID information from the customer table. So what should we do? As we can see here, we may just simply highlight this two ID, customer ID and product ID, and then right-click this. Can you see here? We have an option called the Hide from Current Tools. What does it mean? Hide. Okay, very simple. Hide it. Okay, from something. Current Tools. What does it mean? Because in the Microsoft Excel, basically, okay, Microsoft Excel, if against the Power Pivot table, okay, Microsoft Excel will become the current tools for the to retrieve data from the Power Pivot for Excel. So that's why if we click this button, hide from the current tools, as you can see here, this two field will become gray in color. And if we press the alternate tab key back to the Excel, and then we will find that under the transaction table, customer ID, both the customer ID and product ID are being removed, okay, from the pivot table analysis. Then it will make the this field simpler and clear, right? So up to this moment, any questions? Okay, if no question, let's carry on. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, as you can see here, okay, if we drag and drop, okay, the quantity in transaction table to the value over here, then it will automatically to do some data analysis for us. Okay, for numerical data, just like that of the quantity, okay, it will do the summation for us by default. However, if you say, David, I would like to calculate the average, okay, for this value, then what should we do? Very simple. Just simply click over here, and then to select the value field setting over here. And then over here, we just change it to the average. And then click OK. Then it will show you the average of the quantity. Okay, after we do this operation, I would like to give you a new concept. Because, okay, in the old time, if you just drag and drop, okay, different field to different field inside the pivot table, okay, you just drag and drop all the time. However, now, because for the Power Pivot, it is more sophisticated, so I would like to give you more concept. Over here, can you see this value or the value? Here, it will do the calculation average of quantity. Okay, in the old time, it just called the calculate field. However, now we'll change to another name, call this field as measure. Okay, for this measure, because we just simply drag and drop over the value field over here, and the measure will automatically generate for us. So we'll call this kind of measure called the explicit measure. What does it mean? That means I need not to type any formula to calculate the measure and define the measure. Then we will call it as the explicit measure. Okay, if you would like to have a look on the details about the measures in this pivot table, can you see over here? Under the pivot table choose over here, and then you'll find the menu called the Power Pivot. And over here, we've got the measures, right? If you select the measures menu, and now over here, you've got something called the manage measures. After you click the measures, and then you find out, well, how come there are no measures over here? As I say, okay, okay, if I just simply drag and drop, okay, the field over here, the value field, and then the measure generated, this kind of measure called the explicit measure. However, if we like to define, okay, by ourselves, then we'll call those kind of measure called the implicit measure. For those implicit measure, we can do it over here under the Manage Measures dialog box. So, how to do it? How to do it? How to do it? This is very important. Okay, let's have a look over here. As we can see here, we've got the customer field, okay, product field, product table, and also the transaction table. If I would like to add one more measure, okay, for the product field over here. So what should we do? Okay, I would like to teach you the most traditional one first. Okay, let's go back to the Manage over here. And over here, click the data wheel again. Okay, I would like to go to the product table. As you can see here, here is the product table. For the product table, can you see? For the product table in data view, we find that okay, our table are separate, our view are separate into two separate views. The first part is the data view, and the second part is something like this without the row number. What is this? What is this area called? Okay, just have a look over here. We call this area as the calculation area. If you don't believe on me, just click this. See? The calculation area disappear. If you click again the calculation area, then the calculation area appear again. So, what is the use of calculation area? For the calculation area is for us to have some measures over here, to have some implicit measure over here. Okay, how to create some implicit measure? Okay, just have a look over here. Okay, if I click here over here, select this field. Basically, every cell under the calculation area can be used to create a new implicit measure. After I select this field, so I will type my formula over here inside the formula bar. Let's say I would like the new name of the new implicit measure as the what? As the total number of the retail price. Okay, the cost of the retail price. Okay, the cost of the retail price. So total retail price. The total of retail price. Okay, let's say like this. Remember the name of the measure, no space in between. And then after that, I press the colon and then press the equal sign. What does it mean? Colon equal, that means, okay, this measure has already been ready. And I will assign a formula to calculate this measure, the total retail. So what is the formula? FH, like this. FH what? And then after that, after we press the open bracket, we can select which field I would like to use. Over here, I would like to select the product's retail price, this field. What does it mean? I would like to use this field, the product retail price field, okay, to calculate the average. Just like this. I close to type the close bracket as well. So for this formula, what I'm going to do is to calculate the average of the what? Of the product retail price of this table. After that, I press enter. So what you can see here is the measure. As you can see here, the total the average retail price, okay, is 2.117 over here. Oh, sorry. Okay, I have the one name. Okay, for the formula. Then what should I do? Very simple. Go to the field over here and say average retail. And then after that, okay, the measure will be named to average retail, just like this. If you would like to make more measures, okay, Very simple. Do it again. Okay, another view. Again, average underscore product cost. Cost, average cost, and colon equal to and average. Which field? TBL product cost. Just like this, right? Close bracket, enter. Then altogether we have already created two fields over here, right? Two measures over here. So what will happen, okay, in the pivot table? Just have a look. What happened in the pivot table? As I mentioned, okay, because over here we have already created two measures under the TBL product. So for those measures under the TBL product, as you can see here, we have two additional fields over here. And these two fields called the average retail and average cost as well. And you can see a formula sign over here. That means they belongs to the implicit measure. That means that this measure is defined by ourselves by typing the formula, right? So what's the use of these measures? For example, over here, we know the average quality for each brand over here. However, average quantity already. However, we would also like to know the retail price. Okay, average retail price and average cost for each product name as well. So what should we do? Drag and drop over here inside the value, and then over here we've got this is the average retail price, okay, for this product item. And here, if we drag and drop again, okay, the cost, okay, under the value over here, it will show also the what? The average cost for the ADJ brand, the ADG Wolsey sunglasses over here. Can you see this? And we can easily, okay, to generate this kind of analysis easily over here, right? And now I would like to change something, because for here we've got something called the average of quantity. Well, I find that this is a little bit noisy. Okay, so I just simply right-click this here, and then I change the value field settings to back to what? Sum. Because if I calculate the average of the sales number of sales item, it is a little bit noisy, okay, in this scenario. So if I turn it like this, it will become more clear, okay, and telling you that, okay, sum of quantity and average retail price and average cost, okay, for each item, something like that, okay, it will be very clearly and show it over here. And now another thing is, if I say, well, David, over here in the TBL transaction, we've got the quantity over here. However, I would like to calculate also the, okay, because now over here, we've got this product, and that product, right? I would like, and also I know the quantity we sell, okay, for the for this item and for this item and for this item. Okay, so I would like to calculate the total selling, okay, the total selling for retail price and total cost for those items, okay. How to calculate? This is question. In the old time, okay, this is very easy. We may just simply multiply, okay, the quantity of the selling gas, number of sunglasses we sell, and then multiply it by the retail price for each pair of sunglasses. Then it is very easy to do the calculation, right? How to do it? Most of the people will do it outside the pivot table, just like what I'm doing right now. Equal to this one and multiply this one. And then we got the answer like this, right? This is actually the total retail lump sum of money. Okay, we got, okay, from the retail, okay, by selling altogether 620 pair of sunglasses. However, this is not part of the pivot table. If you would like to have some more complicated calculation, okay, this method is not so good. So what should we do? Then we will making use of the measure again. So how to do it? So this time I would like to show you, okay, how to do the calculation, okay, with this button. Because the previous one, I just do it, okay, and go back to the pivot table and create the new measures, okay, under the calculation area in the pivot table. However, now I would like to do it over here with the measures button over here. Click the measures and then go to the manage measures. Because as I told you before, for this dialog box will shows only those implicit measures. Okay, that means all those formula are created by yourself. Okay, so that's why we got here the FH cost and also FH withheld cost. Okay, and now if we would like to create a new one, click new over here. Then it will pop up a measure dialog box, and over here I would like to create some calculation. And the calculation is based on what? I would like to put, because as you can see here, those measures, after we got the measures, we need to find a place to put those measures. So we need to first of all to define which table you would like to put those measures. I would like to put those measures under each transaction, because what I'm going to do is to calculate the total FOB. Maybe you can say total FOB. Okay, now the name of the measure, total underscore retail price, total retail price for each transaction, okay? And now over here, I would like to type the formula. How to type the formula? This is a question. How to type the formula? Now, first of all, I would like to get the transaction, right? The quantity, transaction quantity. So I would like to type the field name first. The field name is TBL chance. The table name is TBL chance, right? And under the TBL chance, we've got a field called the quantity, right? TBL chance quantity. So I double click TBL chance. This is the name of the table. And I would like to select the field quantity to do the calculation. And now I multiply it by what? By the retail price from the what? From the retail FH from the product table. So TBL product. I would like to calculate the retail price, right? So I will double click the TBL product FH retail price. So up to this moment, okay, I've already added a formula, okay, in this table. But now I would like to check whether this formula is correct. Click the check formula. It will tell you, wow, the calculation error is measured. Oh, this operation is not correct. Okay. So what should we do? It say, okay, this calculation is not correct. So what should we do? So we need to see what happened. Okay. Now let's have a look over here. I just click OK, see what happened, what error we got. Click OK again and close. See what happened. After we click this, here we've got a total retail price. We got over here. And if we drag and drop, okay, the analysis to the values over here, drag and drop, some problem happened. Sorry. Hey, come on. Yeah. Yes. Because I would like to show you the error message. Here. The QE did not want on the data model could not be success. Here's the error message we got. Okay. Here is the script. Okay, calculation error in the transaction, something like that. Okay, I don't know what happened, but I just first of all save it first. Okay. And then again, okay, I need to close it and then open it again. Because sometimes, okay, it will have some addressing error happened, okay, in this scenario. Okay, I open the file again. Now, this is the field, okay. If I put over here, again, here it will show you, okay, cannot be determined, okay, the TBL chance, okay. This is right here because, okay, what I'm going to do, I would like to show an error message, okay. How come it will show you an error message over here? Okay, just have a look, see what happened. Okay, and let me show you the pivot table first. Pivot, manage. And over here, I go to the diagram view. Okay, as you can see here, it will also show you the error message of this field as well. Okay, the reason why, okay, can you see over here? If I would like to, okay, get some information, okay, it will link from the what? From the TBL chance, okay. I would like to call those information about the retail price, okay, maybe from the table for calculation. Okay, for those FH retail price here, retail price and cost over here. Okay, these formulas are created under the what? In the same table. Okay, for those retail price and cost over here, right? This calculation are based on the information from the same table. However, if we put, okay, the total retail price over here, okay, the information should be what? We shifted from the what? From the retail field over here. From the retail field over here, right? So over here, if I ask, okay, which return field we are using, then we should use the product ID to look for the detailed information here to calculate the retail price for us for each item. However, because, okay, over here, we've got no, we've got the product ID to call the information over here. For this way, can you see over here? This arrow, it will show you only the one direction. That means all the information can only from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. If we go from the what? From the right-hand side to the left-hand side, okay, to get the information, we've got a problem. Because as you can see here, over here, we will got more than one quantity, right? Because we will have a many transactions over here. However, over here, we've got only one single product item number over here. So that's why, okay, if we apply this formula in the transaction table, we cannot retrieve the information from the product table because in this one directional flow, okay, from the product table to the transaction table, okay, we cannot give a call, okay, from the transaction table to the product table. So that's why at this moment, they don't know, okay, where the information comes from. So that's why it prompts an error message over here.